What is the five fingers say to the face? Slap!
Okay, so the press conference was kind of wild. It was way better than I expected. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that. I thought that they were going to do, I don't even know what they were going to do. Like, it was so captivating. I haven't experienced that level of intrigue coming out of something for WWE in forever. So I feel like they just absolutely nailed it. Now, there's still a ton of unanswered questions, and I kind of feel like The Rock is going to have a match. The question is going to be, well, what is the match? Now, to go through the press conference a little bit, everyone has seen it, so there's no sense of going play-by-play here. But I seriously thought this was well done. You had Roman and Seth chopping at each other, and we'll talk about Seth in a minute, but like, I love that part. The Rock coming out and then calling on the crybabies of Cody. He did that during the Pat McAfee show earlier in the day, so it was all kind of like building to this. And you could see The Rock during his promo time at the press conference where he kind of shifted, where things finally shifted. They swore, Cody came out, interrupted, called it bull, like, and all of that. As soon as that happened, that's when you saw the shift of The Rock physically turning and siding with Roman Reigns. And I like the idea of Rock positioning his match with Roman as the match. That is the match. That is the blockbuster, the biggest thing they could ever do in wrestling today. So why are people upset with it? And him going off of that. And they're playing into the reality of Roman being head of the table, and Rock being on the board and on the board of directors. And I love that because it's adding to the reality of it. So when Cody comes out, they first announce with the graphic, like you guys saw. They give you the graphic of Rock and Roman going to WrestleMania. And then when everything happens with Cody and it falls apart and Seth is getting in there and he's chomping at Roman, Seth starts yelling at Rock, which was awesome. There's tons of swearing in it. It felt real. They blended in what is really going on with the story of the bloodline, head of the table, all of that, and Cody. And I feel like they did just such a great job putting all the pieces together in that moment. Now, was it like, it begs a lot of questions, obviously. We still don't know everything. But after the breakdown and like the press conference ended and you got basically Rock and Roman together as the bloodline, or like the corporate bloodline, you then get Cody in there. Cody announces he is going to go after Roman Reigns. And once everything broke down, they all walked off the stage. And then you get a backstage thing after the Triple H is getting interviewed, right? And then Rock and Roman interfere, and Rock is shooting his mouth off at Triple H. And I love the look on Triple H's face because he was trying to get chewed out. Triple H's like, you went too far with this. And Rock is telling him to fix it. And I love the fact that Triple H looked at him almost like, if I could go, I would fight you. Like, I'd beat you up right now if I could. I'd love to see Triple H back in the ring, but that can't happen. But I love that they did that dynamic where it's Triple H needs to fix it. I love Seth yelling at Rock saying, I don't give a crap that you're on the board of directors. Oh, there were so many layers to it. It was fantastic. So then after the backstage piece, on Twitter, Triple H announces the match is official and you are going to get Cody versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, they didn't say which night of WrestleMania. So that still leaves a lot of intrigue. And we still don't officially know what is happening with The Rock and what type of match it's going to be. Because I am not sure how they're going to get there and what they're going to do and what they're going to do with Seth. And you know what? I'm happy that we have intrigue. I know a lot of people will probably sit there and go, what about this? We don't know about this. They didn't tell us this. Oh, they didn't tell us anything. I'm happy that we're going for a ride. I want to go on a ride for this, for WrestleMania. That's what I want. I don't want to be just laid everything out. Think of it if it was under Vince McMahon. It would just be Rock coming out on Raw or SmackDown. He'd go face to face with Roman and we'd get 2 stare downs and the vignette and a promo. And that would be the match at WrestleMania. And it'd be boring and typical. Now we have something that is completely different and they're going to build to. And I don't think WrestleMania 40 is the end of all of this. The Rock is now officially on the board of directors. You got like corporate bloodline right now. I think that they are going to play into this for a very long time. Now, the real question, the big thing that has me excited is wondering, what are they going to do at WrestleMania with The Rock? We're going to get Roman Cody. But you got to figure leading up to that, The Rock is getting involved somehow. Because he's telling Triple H to fix it. So how is he going to fix it? That's going to be the big thing. And now you get the dynamic of Triple H and The Rock chomping at each other, going back and forth. That also is another wrinkle. That also makes it very interesting. But the big question to me is going to be, and maybe you think of this too, what are we going to do with The Rock, Roman, Cody, and maybe even Seth? My gut told me last night that we're getting a tag team match. And there are multiple ways that they can do this at WrestleMania. And I think fans are going to be happy no matter what. And I also think that we're going to be seeing something long-term beyond WrestleMania 40. And that's what I think we should keep in mind. Because this is not going to be one and done, get to Mania 40 and Rock is gone forever. He's on the board of directors now. So it's not a typical WrestleMania. And Rock has said, even last year, for 39 when they wanted to do something, it didn't work out. I think they wanted to do something bigger, and Rock has talked about how he wanted to make something different. And I've always kind of wondered, well, how do you make it different? It's still wrestling at the end of the day. It's still promos, it's still vignettes, it's still wrestling in a wrestling ring. So I'm like, how do you make this thing different? Well, with what we saw, whether it was the plan or not, because SmackDown and Cody saying, I'm not coming at WrestleMania, I don't know what happened. But you could see that this seems to be part of their plan. Something different is blurring the lines now of Rock being corporate TKO member and getting mad that, like, Cody, how dare you interfere in this? This is bigger than you. This is the money match. This is the biggest match we could do at WrestleMania. It's good for business, all of that. And then you've got Cody positioned as an underdog when he's really not. But now he is. And now you want to see it even more. There's so much intrigue here. So, the big thing then is, what are we going to get at WrestleMania for night 1 and night 2? Because I'm curious. I'm into it and I'm loving it. We got to go get a coffee, by the way. I love it. What are we going to get at WrestleMania? There's multiple ways they can do this. And one of them is a tag team match. So, what I think could be one option is Roman Cody is going to happen. I think that's night 2 main event for the belt. And there's probably Usos involved. There's probably Bloodline involved. There's probably Rock involved in that. But at the end of it all, at the end of the day, it's going to be Cody Rhodes holding the title high and Rock is defeated. And Roman is defeated. One scenario they can do for night 1 is a tag team match. Based on the press conference alone and what they did there. And Rock turning and siding with him. And also, if you guys saw online, they did another thing they posted on social media where Roman and Rock, Paul Heyman, were walking out to the cars after all of that went down. Again, they're blurring the lines with reality. They're treating it like it's real. And they're giving it a sports vibe to it all. And Rock looks gigantic compared to everybody else. It was ridiculous. Even Roman Reigns. Roman's huge and Rock made Roman look small. based on what we saw at the press conference, I think you could get a tag team match of Roman and Rock against Cody and Seth, night 1 main event. Now, that has a lot of ifs and maybes, and could it work? Because you're pulling Seth out of a World Heavyweight title match, and you're putting him in with this. On paper, I love it. It also helps. It puts Seth in a big position, and Seth has all the reasons to be mad at the Bloodline, to be mad at Roman Reigns, and why he would want to do that. Because Roman is constantly telling him that he's trash and that the belt is secondary. So Seth has all this motivation to go after Roman Reigns and go after The Rock now too, because they're dismissing him like he doesn't matter. So if you're Seth in character, you got to be like, hey, why are you like, what gives you the right to talk down to me? Even Seth said it to The Rock. He's like, I don't care that you're like on the board of directors. Doesn't matter. So you've got a ton of motivation just for Seth Rollins alone in all of this. Now, is that the best idea? I don't know. What do you think? Because it puts the World Heavyweight Championship locked up in this Bloodline thing at WrestleMania. So guys like Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, or anybody else, they're not going to get a World Heavyweight title match. That's off the table. But it does elevate Seth. It elevates the title. It puts it in with the biggest match and the biggest storyline. So if you're Seth, you're like, I'm getting in there with the biggest storyline. How is that a bad thing? So I can see that being one option. Also, you have the dynamic of Seth and Cody, who can do promos back and forth every single week on Raw, because Roman and Rock are not going to be there every week, presumably. They'll probably show up a little bit more often. But you would need Cody and Seth to spearhead this thing, and you get the interesting story of Seth and Cody having to align, having to come together, despite them not wanting to, despite them not being friends, but realizing this is bigger than belts and this is bigger than anything, and we gotta take them down. So then you end up with the tag team match at WrestleMania night 1 in this scenario. I think with that, Rock and Roman win. If it's a night 1 tag match, Rock and Roman win. Also, a tag match is really good because it helps protect Rock not having to wrestle one-on-one and possibly blowing out his whole body. So you get Rock, who doesn't have to wrestle as intensely. You get Seth, who is still, for all intents and purposes, he's still injured with his knee. And the match was originally going to be with Punk, but now that Seth is kind of injured, you want to protect Seth too, so he doesn't get more hurt. So a tag team match is a great way to do that, and you get Cody and Roman to do the heavy lifting. But then you get Rock and Roman in this scenario to win the tag match, because you want Bloodline strong. And you do that night 1, which creates the doubt for everybody going into night 2. In this scenario, you need Rock and Roman to destroy Cody and Seth. Like, really hurt Seth, take him out, and dominate. They can get some comebacks and all of that, but you give us 20 minutes of a tag match, and you come out with it having Rock and Roman standing tall, fireworks, the whole thing. And they show how dominant they are as the Bloodline. Then you go into night 2, and then you can do a lot of vignettes. You can do all the social media stuff all day. Can Cody do it? Cody's hurting. Can he get in there in night 2 and take down Roman Reigns? And that's where you have Cody overcome the odds, the biggest odds ever, of being injured, coming out of a tag match, maybe even getting shots in at The Rock, and beating Roman Reigns for the belt. That's the one scenario I see. Now, if they want to get Seth out of there and put him in the world title match, maybe he's going up against Drew, Sammy, multi-man match, I don't know. But it would seem odd, after all of this, that Seth being involved in this, you're just going to pull him out and he's not going to get kind of his revenge. Seems like an odd choice if you did that. So if it was still a tag match and not Seth, who do you put in there? One option can be Randy Orton. I don't see it. I still see Seth being in the tag if they were going to do it that way. But you could do Randy with the history of Cody and Randy. Roman and Randy. It would work too. And it would give something Randy to do something at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know if that's likely. I even saw rumblings of people being like, oh, imagine if it's like a tag match. Cody's trying to find a partner going into WrestleMania. Glass shatters and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could also do that. But if you did like Austin coming in to help Cody take down The Rock and be the anti-authority guy again, but this time against his biggest rival in The Rock outside of McMahon, that's very cool and very, very big. But presumably you would then end up with, are you gonna have Austin lose? That'd be cool. That could set something up, another WrestleMania. But I think you still want Bloodline to go over. So I don't know if you want Austin in there, but it'd be really cool if you did. Maybe special guest referee. So then, if you don't do the tag matches, what can you do with The Rock, Roman, Cody? Is it going to be a triple threat? Rock is siding with Roman right now. Is it a handicap match? I don't know. Is it all the Bloodline? Is it Solo and Jimmy and Rock and Roman versus Cody and Randy and Seth? Like, multi-man match. Everyone is finally going to take down the Bloodline, and then the Bloodline wins. And then it all comes down to Cody, and Cody does it for everybody. I don't know if it's going to be like, I thought of the idea of before the press conference, of the special guest ref match. Rock becomes the ref. If you did the tag match night 1 and the Cody Roman match night 2, The Rock wants him to fix it. Rock is going to be in this scenario, I think, really pushing his power as board of directors, head of WWE. He's going to be the new authority. And I like that he's like mean Rock. If you did this, you could have Rock insert himself as special guest ref of night 2. Because then it's they win night 1 and night 2, the odds are stacked against Cody again even more. He loses night 1 in the tag, and now he's got to go up against Roman with The Rock in there as special guest ref. The odds are stacked, but then you still end up in a situation where Cody needs to win at the very end of it all. But it would add so much more intrigue as well. And you get Rock 2 nights. And you're just engulfed in the story. Now, if it's not a tag on night 1, I don't know what you do. Do you have a triple threat on night 1 or night 2? Is it just night 2 and it's going to end up being the 3 of them, which kind of ends up being like a handicap match, but then ultimately Rock and Roman crumble in the match? That seems almost straightforward at this point, and they're not doing straightforward. I really don't know how they're going to position this thing. It's very, very interesting. I think that you're probably going to end up with Seth, like I said, involved in this. I think overall the press conference was a home run. Do I think it was sloppy getting there? Yes, because it didn't make any sense that Cody won the Rumble and then came out on SmackDown and handed over his spot to Rock. I feel like they pivoted a little bit. I don't think this was the ultimate plan. I think they did pivot when they saw the crowd reaction. And when they saw the crowd reaction, I think that's when they switched. And they were like, okay, but let's lean into this. Let's go with it. And I think I feel the plan was always going to be Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. It was how are they going to get there? I don't know what you're going to do at WrestleMania. It's so interesting now. I was feeling so worried that it was going to be crap and standard. And Cody Roman was going to be a great match. And then when Rock came in, it felt like everything was up in the air, and I think they did pivot a little bit. But I'm super excited for it. Hopefully they can keep the momentum going. And hopefully they lean into more of this with the backstage and the better cameras and better angles and more intrigue. Because that's what makes it fun. You get guys off the cuff, swearing, and they're blending the reality in there. And I think they could nail it. If they keep this going, they could absolutely nail it. Now, most important thing to do is go get a coffee because I'm here and I've arrived. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and if you like unfiltered content like this, hit me up in the comments. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Cheers.